so epic when that music starts.
I know.
Compared to like our Walking Dead podcast, it's got the cool music, but it just doesn't get you. This is some
It's
medieval
so epic,
shit.
I know.
Oh yeah, oh
Tickles the
yeah.
ears.
So we're back for episode. What was the 3?
3, yeah.
3, yeah.
Hey,
Between
Matt.
this and The Walking Dead, I keep
You know how I know you're not a god? Because I've seen your pecker, and it's too small to be God's wiener.
The dick jokes are just running rampant in the show this season.
They really are.
They really are. It's the season of dick on Game of Thrones. But hey, really good episode. I was really scared that they would pull like a Walking Dead Glenn thing to where you'd see Jon Snow come back to life and we wouldn't get back to that for another 3 episodes. So I'm glad they started the episode off right with. They did good about pleasing fans, I think.
That's what I was going to say. They know how to satisfy us.
And I mean, they were definitely satisfying the ladies because I mean, the first thing we see almost is Jon Snow's derriere.
Yeah, no kidding.
Those buns.
He is sculpted. I mean, woo. Lord have mercy.
I didn't really pay that much attention, but I do know that there was a bare ass. But so Jon Snow back with a vengeance, took out everyone the main 4 that had betrayed him, which is just sad. I was glad to see that little kid get it too. I mean,
he absolutely deserved it. I mean, but I think Jon Snow, he was like that one was a hard decision for him.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, could that be the piece of Jon Snow that he's lost? Coming back, he's a little bit more ruthless, maybe.
They've asked, several times, is that really you? I think he's going to be Jon Snow. He's just going to be a harder ass Jon Snow. He's seen the other side, literally.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty chilling, in just my own opinion, when they asked him, like, what did you see?
Yeah.
And he's like, nothing.
Not a thing.
Nothing. You think with all these gods and everything, there's some kind of like afterlife in the Game of Thrones world or somewhere, and then it's just like nothing.
Melisandre was just like, wah, wah.
Well, she was also, you're the chosen one. I thought it was Stannis, but I was wrong. It's you. And Davos was like, come on, man, get out of here with that shit. Like,
I would absolutely tell her. I'd be like, look, Miss Lady, I've seen what all happened the last time you thought someone was a chosen one. I don't want to be your chosen one.
Yeah. But even though Sir Davos, was seeking her help and she did bring him back, he was like, just please stop with that.
Just stop with the one.
You've served your purpose. Now just scat. Just
keep
scat
your
on
necklace
out of
on
here.
and get out of here.
Shoot.
I saw Saturday. I don't know if it's Saturday Night Live or not, but they had a spoof of the Melisandre necklace thing. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
Where it's like, this year, get your mother, the gift that'll make her forget she's old enough to have you, and it's like shows this old woman put on the necklace, and it's like for just the price I probably got wrong, but like for just $29.99 and a vial of the blood of your firstborn, you can get this great yada yada yada. It was a really good spoof. Going back to that. But yeah, so her magic did work. I know a lot of folks are wondering.
Yeah.
I think majority of everybody thought Jon Snow was coming back. Or, it just was how. Mm-hmm. And it actually was Melisandre. Because I'd actually watched a video probably a month before it started back that was like, why it won't be her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, and they were all good points, but sadly, none of them were right.
It's interesting to see for sure.
All right, so we're getting a little bit of Tyrion in this season. It's like little tidbits of Tyrion.
Yeah, he's more like the comic relief right now.
Yeah,
Kind of like a Jar Jar Binks of the.
No, don't do that to Tyrion. Do not do that to Tyrion.
You can't compare. Yeah, that's no comparison.
I like Tyrion. Jar Jar Binks ruined.
Let's have a conversation, you guys. Let's play a game.
God, Jar Jar Binks is. Oh my God, I'll still never understand.
You don't drink. That's a great Tyrion, right?
When it comes to Jar Jar Binks, I'm still just like, why? Like, I don't get it. But no, I wouldn't call him Jar Jar Binks.
No.
Maybe C-3PO.
Melisandre and Grey Worm are definitely great conversationalists. That's for sure.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I love the when she's like, we used to play games, and he's like, okay, yes, that's a good start. And then it's like, she's like, just the girls. Oh no!
I'm surprised Tyrion didn't jump all over that.
Season 1 Tyrion would have been like, okay, all right, well, Grey Worm, I need you to exit the room. But Daenerys not getting the royal treatment she thought she was going to get.
Yeah.
They're kind of just straight up like, if you even get to stay.
Yeah, they stripped her down and no titties.
None.
I know. What kind of shot was that? What kind of camera work?
Emilia Clarke said no more.
Yeah.
And if she's going to be nude, there will be a body double.
I mean, that totally took me out of the moment.
Cersei, when she had to do her walk of shame last season, that was a body double.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that wasn't actually her.
They superimposed her head, I think, onto the. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
So you can't even, the boobies aren't even reliable. It's like, I don't know, how do I even know those are your boobies, you know?
How can I trust you
Yeah,
after
the
that?
trust is gone. Jeez.
But so, you know, I'm kind of jumping everywhere, but I mean, we got a lot going on. That's the thing about these episodes compared to like when we do our Walking Dead podcast. It's like, okay, one storyline versus like 4 or 5 storylines. Arya's got her sight back.
Yep. She went through her daredevil type of training.
Right. And got the shit beat out of her with a stick.
Yeah. And like, and they kind of revealed something too, possibly revealed something, because when they ask her how many brothers she has, she says 4, right?
I didn't know if I got the number.
She has to go back and correct herself,
She says
right?
4, and she gets hit with the stick.
Yeah.
And,
And
so it could be that they're saying that Jon Snow is not actually Ed Stark's son.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's been the whole
It's
theory.
like little hints. They just keep throwing them at us.
How cool was that going back in time and finding that Eddard isn't quite as honest as we thought he was? Like when he had been telling his
That
son
was
how
such
that
an awesome
fight went, you
flashback.
know, and was like, oh, I've heard this story, 100 times, and then you come to find out that Eddard almost was done,
Yeah, I mean, because his name is Arthur Dane. That dude was a badass.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
with them
it
2
was.
swords,
Two
man.
swords in that armor and still moving like that. That's crazy. But Howland Reed, that's Mira's father. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's protecting Bran now. So I mean, that's pretty interesting to see.
Huh.
Like, that's a nice little parallel.
Yeah.
Reeds and Starks together again.
That is pretty cool. I hadn't thought about that.
Who's the old man in the tree, though? I want to know who that old tree man is. He's just hanging out, telling stories.
He's the 3-eyed raven.
Yeah.
Is he? Is that who he is?
Yeah, he's a 3-eyed raven.
He's the 3-eyed raven, the guy in the tree.
He's like, I really feel like, I don't know, it could be wrong, because obviously the whole, I'm guessing, a Song of Fire and Ice, I'm thinking, obviously the big thing is going to come down between the living people are going to, it's just getting to where they're all going to have to join forces to take on the White Walkers. And of course, fire being the dragons, ice being the White Walkers. Maybe he'll use his power to control one of the dragons at some point. You know what I mean?
That would be interesting.
That would be freaking awesome.
That'd be crazy.
But he's training for something big. I mean, they're getting him ready for this war that's coming.
They want him to know everything before he leaves, because he was worried that he was going to have to be stuck in that tree for the rest of his life, just like that old man who was all intertwined with the roots and all that stuff.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to be like you.
He's like, I don't blame you, man.
Yeah.
But you're not going to be here forever, so calm down. You're going to learn some stuff, and then you're going to send your ass out into the world.
He's going to be. I mean, it's cool, and we'll do that as we get towards the end of the show, because we've only got like a season or 2 left. But it's going to be some key players in this big battle that's going on. Obviously, now the big question: where do you think Jon Snow's going to go? I mean, he just pretty much, the only thing needed to make that scene even better was him dropping a mic after he hands off his coat, and is like, wear it, burn it, whatever. I've done my watch, I've served my watch or whatever. And then he just needed to go and then just walk out. Where do we think he's going now? The world's his oyster. He served his term.
See, that's what I'm wondering too. Are the Wildlings going to follow him?
I believe they would.
But if anywhere, I think he would head for Winterfell, right?
You would think.
That's probably, yeah.
Because does he really know the status of his family?
Well, I know that he knows Rob's dead.
Yeah.
He knows that Rob's dead, and he knows that Lady Stark, who never really liked him anyways, is dead. I know he knows all about the Red Wedding. I don't know if he knows necessarily about Theon and all of that.
Yeah.
I can't. It's and forgive us for the super fans. I mean, it's so much to remember with this show. I don't know if he knows. We've got what? We've got Sansa's heading to the wall.
Yeah. So maybe they'll cross paths and they'll meet up on the way. Mm-hmm. But it looks like, which we'll talk about that later on. But I don't know. It makes sense for him to head for Winterfell.
Yeah. Well, that's like that. Yeah, that would. True. I mean, I really, and even though people have predicted this long ahead, I really do hope that he's a Targaryen. I really love the the theories out there. What is it? R + L = J.
No.
Yes.
But I mean, at this point, everyone at Castle Black should be following him. I mean, who's going to lead the Night's Watch at this point?
Yeah.
Nobody's following that guy. Gave his jacket to. That guy with the big old forehead. Ain't
Hey,
nobody
he is
listening to him.
He's respected.
He is.
Yeah, but still, he's no leader.
He's the one that went off and got the wildlings and saved the day, though.
Yeah.
Because they were about to be killed.
Dolores Ed is his name. I just call him Ed.
It's fitting.
No.
And we finally, jumping around, I know I'm just trying to hit all the major points and then we'll get to it, but we also finally see Sam. We haven't seen him this season yet. We see him on the boat not doing so well with seasickness, getting tossed about while his lady friend just seems to be enjoying the hell out of herself.
Yeah, it's kind of funny too. And then like he wants to take her to his home, and because women aren't allowed in the Citadel.
Yeah,
and it's kind of funny because he's all seasick and all that stuff, and she says something about I would always support the father of my son, and then he throws up again.
Yeah.
So it's like, was he really seasick, or was he just contemplating the idea of fatherhood?
Right. Or was he just thinking your daddy boned you to get that baby?
Exactly.
I mean, there's several things probably going through the man's
baby.
mind. So all of those things together probably are what did it for him. It's just too much for one Sam to
overloaded.
process.
Sentences were overloaded.
I mean, it's been a fast relationship, Maybe he's just thinking, we're moving too fast. Look, we've all been there.
Speaking of moving fast, I hope they get a move on with rescuing Daenerys.
Yeah.
It's just not right with her not being in charge.
Yeah, I mean, and we're kind of faced with the fact that she could or could not be killed.
Right.
Because she broke the rules by going out into the world.
Yeah, she kind of deserted.
So now she's going to have to face the consequences. Either the best she can hope for is to stay with at the temple of the Doth Colleen.
Yeah, stay around all the old has-been. Oh, I once was a Khaleesi.
I was by my man. I thought we was going to take over the world. That didn't happen.
That's like the Southern
that ain't happen.
Game of Thrones, Southern United States edition. I stood beside my man. I thought he was going to rule the world, but he didn't.
I was doing like Tammy Wynette told me to, and I was standing by my man.
Oh, Tammy Wynette. There was a Patsy Cline or some country artist on Fear of the Walking Dead this week.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
How about
that he was listening to and he was making that awful steak.
Oh, right. I thought you meant like an actual cameo. I was going to say Patsy Cline.
No.
Is she still even alive?
She's a zombie. But Fear of the Walking... not Fear of the Walking Dead. Game of Thrones, the thing I like about the show is it really does get better and better. Whereas like with Fear the Walking Dead, we're kind of at a slow point because the show's just kind of dragging along. With Game of Thrones, every week it's like, oh my God. Yeah. It just gets like fine wine. It just gets better and better the longer it goes.
Did you guys like old Varys' interrogation?
I was about to say we saw a different side of Varys because he was very smooth and calm and like basically...
If he had a penis, I bet he'd get some action.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's smooth, man.
He's a good talker, that's for sure.
He's smooth. I like what he told her though. He's like, I don't torture. He's like, I get the information I want by being nice. He knows everything.
Yeah.
I feel like he's a good guy, but you just don't know 100%.
Catch more flies with honey.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
you threaten their offspring.
Indirectly.
No, very, 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 very smooth. Like I said, the first couple of seasons, I'm like, is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy?
Yeah.
I mean, what does he, and you're still not 100% on like, what is his goal? Is his goal really to put Daenerys in power because he feels like she would be the best?
I think he's a good guy. He just uses certain tactics to get what he wants.
You notice
he has to be cunning.
Yeah, him and Littlefinger are kind of like the opposite sides of the same coin in that sense of both are very manipulative if they need to be. They're both very good talkers. They know how to play people like a game of chess. But Littlefinger, I think, is bad. I mean, he really just wants whatever.
Self-interest,
right? Whereas you don't know with the eunuch. He could be. I'm like you. I think he's a good guy, but they've written him so good to the point where if he did all of a sudden bring out some evil plot, I'd be like, oh damn it! But I wouldn't completely be thrown off. You'd be like, well, I mean, you don't really ever know what's on his mind.
I mean, he essentially offers witness protection for the prostitute and her kid.
So if your pimp's chasing you,
and we found out about his little birds, they're little children. He gives them candy.
Not creepy at all.
No.
Here's some candy, kids. Come tell Daddy some secrets.
Yeah. Now, I want your whispers.
Varys was obviously not going to be messing with any kids,
right?
Just giving them candy. But Quabbert, I don't know about him now.
Well, and speaking of candy, so we see the High Sparrow chatting it up with the king, and it looks like he kind of was
he's
getting to the king a little bit.
Yeah, like he was like I'm doing it for your mother's own good, and Tommen is just kind of like defeated. He's kind of snowed by it.
Look, dude, let's get with the program. You made my mom walk naked like a mile down the street while people flashed wieners and threw doo-doo on her. There's nothing you're going to say that's going to put me in your good graces. You're lucky I don't have your head already
Yeah, it's an interesting conversation, especially with it being Mother's Day yesterday.
Right. And he's a teenager, so you know his hormones are going crazy, and he's got, you know, and I hate to objectify here, but one mighty fine-looking woman, you know, that could locked away, and it's
he
like,
didn't even bring her up, did he?
No, it was all about his mom.
Yeah, exactly.
All about his mom. I'd be like, I won't at that age.
Yeah, and he only got
like
to hit
Marjorie
it
is what I'm concerned with. Look, I got a nice, you know, I don't want to say fine piece of tail, but a fine piece of tail as a queen locked away. I mean, you know, and he's at that hormonal age to where, man, I mean, you know.
Plus, she got money.
No, lots of money. I feel like her grandmother is going to get her out, though, because her grandmother is equally cunning and sly. And, you know, I mean, God,
Definitely.
they had Joffrey killed.
That small council diss, man, that was brutal.
Oh, yeah.
You can't make
Well,
us leave. Well, you can't make us stay.
Oh, the Maester Pycelle also eating his words after talking shit about the mountain. And he's like,
The mountain is creepy looking,
shit.
all bluish under that helmet, man. I mean,
He's a killing machine.
I always think like beyond what I see. I'm like, okay, so he's all big and he doesn't talk and he follows orders and stuff. But like, when does he go poop? When does he go pee? I mean, you see his big zombified ass, like, you know, she's like, come on, we have to go do this. And it's like, you know, one finger up. He's like going in the back, pooping in the hole in the floor that they have. Yeah, it's weird. I think about stuff like that. Like when someone's zombified, I'm like, okay, so do they just like crap themselves now? And that's the weird things you think about when it comes
to let her know number one or number two.
Yeah,
he just holds up one finger.
It's two. If he grunts, it's number one. Hold on, the mountain's got to pee. If it's like, oh hell, everybody evacuate, reconvene in 20 minutes.
Evacuate his bowels.
But it was hilarious when he, you know, he's like, I think we should, you know, basically kill him more or less as he's coming in. You know,
he sneaks by him like he just shit his pants or something.
I would have just probably been like, I'll stay. I'll do whatever that big guy wants me to do.
I mean, even before he was undid, man, I would have been afraid.
And then he had free will.
Yeah.
So not only was he a big beast, but he had free will. But, you know, that seems to be the theme. We're bringing people back from the dead this season.
Yeah.
Jon Snow, of course, seeming to be more of himself than the Mountain is. But yeah, the small council meeting definitely going to have some. Cersei's not going to take that shit. Yeah,
I mean, especially with Marjorie being with the High Sparrow.
Yeah.
You know, Cersei would just rather her stay up there for the rest of the time because while she's gone, you know, what she claims to be queen or whatever, and Lady Olenna, whatever, was like, "You're not the queen. Marjorie's the queen." So as far as as far as Cersei's concerned, Marjorie could just stay there.
Yeah,
she's not going to try to get her out anytime soon. So that's going to be an interesting play between the two of them. Olenna getting Marjorie and her brother back versus Cersei wanting to keep them there.
Pit Tommen against his mom, you know. I mean, because if the queen gets out, it's like, so who are you gonna side with?
But also,
your queen or your mom, or the High Sparrow.
We saw in last episode where Tommen was like, "Guide me."
Right.
So his mother could be in his ear and be like, "Look, this is the best thing for right now. I know that it doesn't seem that way, but it's the best move for right now."
And sadly, all of her moves just involve making sure she just doesn't become old. Like she does, she's like the toy in like Toy Story. She doesn't want to be put on the shelf and forgotten.
Yeah.
But you know,
she enjoys the power.
She really does. It's gonna be. And her brother, you know, he's not seeming. You know, he seems to be bloodthirsty himself right now. Obviously,
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad. It's so sick to say her brother is pissed because they locked away his main squeeze. And embarrassed the hell out of her. But Jaime's not happy. I mean, you know.
And they just killed his daughter.
Right.
Well, I mean, they didn't kill his daughter, but the Dornish, and they don't want to do nothing about the Dornish.
Yeah, that's another good point because Cersei wants to go and find out. That's where they want to send the little birds. It's like go to Dorne and give me that information. She wants to know everybody that's talking shit about her. She wants to know what's going on with the Dornish, so she can make a list and take some people out.
Retribution.
I thought it was interesting to hear Arya talk about the Hound, you know, and she's like, tell me about the Hound, and that she had actually taken him off of her list. You know, she had him on the list and she removed him off the list. I still don't think he's dead.
I don't either.
She thinks he's dead, obviously, because she left him to die. But I mean, we know pretty much if you don't see him die, then there's a pretty good chance they may come back.
That was really open-ended the way they left that.
Yeah,
I think the Hound's coming back.
I really do too, because he wasn't dead. He was immobilized.
Yeah.
But he's a tough guy.
And it's Game of Thrones. All right. He's a very tough guy. If anybody was going to limp their half sliced up ass to the nearest village and get some help, it'd be the Hound.
I mean, him and the Mountain are brothers. So I mean, you see the Mountain, and we've seen the Hound.
Yeah.
And both guys are tough.
Yeah.
I think the Hound will eventually come back into play. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I'm sure that it'll have something to do with Arya.
Tell you a cool fight I would have loved to have seen back when it almost happened. Gosh, I guess in season 3 maybe it was between the Hound and Bran. Right before they had the battle at Blackwater Bay, when they were, I guess, in the whorehouse. It was like a party going on, and the Hound was talking crap to Bran. Bran kind of reached back for the little blade on his back. That would have been a good fight because Bran's a brawler. I mean, he can throw down, but the Hound's, that'd be a good fight. Who do you think would win if you had to pick right now, Hound or Bran?
Ooh, I might have to say the Hound.
Think the Hound?
I think the Hound.
He's big and he's quick.
I was going to say Bran just because Bran's more cunning. Like the Hound is more on blunt force. I
think Bran is more agile.
I think if there was something he could have used to his advantage, then Bran would have it. If it was just a straight up fist to fist, blade to blade, it could be a different story. But that was a fight that I was so excited as they were about to do it. I was like, oh hell, this is going to be awesome.
Bran had a whore on his lap.
And we haven't seen Bran. Yeah, he did have a whore on his lap.
He was just like, look, man, there's enough whores and booze for everyone. Chill out.
Have we seen Bran this season?
I don't know about this season, but he did get married and he's like just chilling out and
he's ready to retire.
And making he's unless it's like a huge payday, I doubt we'll see him go anywhere.
He kind of got on my bad side when he wouldn't fight for Tyrion. Well, that made me sad because I know he's like where the money is, man. You know, you're paying me, but at the same time, you would hope that they had become friends. You know, that he would actually, and he just show some interest in Tyrion. You know, how's he doing? You know, tell him I said hello, blah 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 blah. But still, I was kind of sad.
Going up against the Mountain, man, that's a hard pill to swallow.
Hell yeah.
Man, I was thinking the Hound and the Mountain, that's basically Kane versus the Undertaker all over again. I mean, the Mountain's basically Kane with the mask and all quiet and stuff. And I think the Hound's going to come back with like a top hat. Oh, Undertaker didn't wear a top hat. Whatever that hat he wore was.
Yeah, I got you.
It's going to be good.
I'll be looking for that.
You should look for it.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
So do you think that Jon Snow, if he gets to Winterfell, he might be the one to save Rickon?
God, I hope so. He ain't got much family left to save. But, I mean, you know, with Ramsay, you're not safe even. I mean, he better hurry his ass up because with Ramsay, you don't have long.
Ain't going to be much left.
And if you do have long, that's even worse because that means you're not going to get killed. You're going to get the
old torture. Yeah, I think that's what he wants to do. And, you know, Shaggy Dog's dead, too. Because I think the only direwolf left is Ghost, right?
Yeah.
One at Winter.
Yep.
Yeah,
with Jon
Snow's wolf.
Oh. I didn't think about that. Yeah, because he threw the wolf head on the table.
I was so sad about that too. I'm a huge dog lover.
Oh yeah,
me too. It
made me so upset.
I got a picture this morning of the top of a treat box. My dog literally got onto the counter somehow and ate every one of his dog treats. The bastard.
Oh, jeez.
But anyways, I was too. Well, like back in season 3 when they killed Robb and sewed the dire wolf head to him. And we're parading him around, man. That was some twisted shit. I was like, dude. It was bad. I felt kind of worse for the dire wolf than I really did Robb. I mean, I love Robb, don't get me wrong. But, I mean, I'm kind of like, oh, that's so screwed up. They did that to the wolf and Robb. And Robb. Poor Robb. But lots of exciting things happening as we get into the season.
It'll be interesting to see what happens next for sure.
They do very well of setting up. This show's got a lot of foreshadowing. Lots of it. Like you said with Arya, where they were talking about the brother thing. I mean, if that's how it plays out, then it's going to have something to do with the plot later. They don't do like some shows, they don't have many plot holes. And I'm sure someone could pick it apart, but I'm talking in general. The majority of things they start, they finish, or they continue with. It's not really so much of.
Yeah, well, I think in the next, at least maybe not next episode, but the next coming episodes, that we'll see. Possibly the theory of Jon Snow being Lyanna's son.
Yeah, I think that's what they're hitting to.
Because I mean, with her screaming in the tower and all that stuff, that could be the her birthing Jon Snow.
Yeah,
and not being attacked as it may seem.
Yeah.
So who knows? And also, I think in this episode, Bran kind of represents every Game of Thrones fan because he's like. Why did you do that? Take me back there. I want to see more.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting too to see if she was raped or if it was a willing, because nobody knows for sure. It's rumored that she was having a love affair with the guy, but Rhaegon,
it's understood that Rhaegar kidnapped her and raped her.
Right, and
that's what everybody believes.
And then whispers, I think it was like rumored that that they ran away together. Is what some people in the show believe. So it'll be interesting to see how that was, because that could to Eddard. He seems to always, older Eddard seemed to carry this heavy load on his shoulders his entire time we were with him.
Yeah.
And it could have been that his sister ran off with the enemy, and then he's, keeping the baby of, because that really would make sense, well, it would make sense either way, but that he's keeping the baby of their enemy, but it's also his sister's baby. It's like it's a dark secret.
He's got to claim him as his own to protect him, because if they find out he's a Targaryen, they're gonna slice and dice.
And it's like, this is the child of my enemy and my sister, and it'd be even more salt on the wound if it was a willing, like they meant, like they wanted to make whoopee, not rape.
Eddard Stark, being the honorable guy that he is, he didn't even tell his wife the truth.
No shit.
She hated
think
him.
about that. This guy went home and told his wife, "I cheated on you," in order to keep a secret when he didn't.
To protect the child. Yeah, that's how honorable is that?
It's like I tell people, you kind of like, I like Lady Stark, and side note, Lady Stoneheart, I hear that they're hinting towards when they see some of that in the show, which is going to be really cool. But I see why she resents Jon Snow, because every time she sees the baby, it's like, oh, this is the byproduct of my husband hooking up with some whore.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I always felt bad for Jon Snow around her, because it's like, poor Jon Snow.
What did he do? He didn't.
Yeah, you know nothing.
Yeah, even like way back when she talks about taking care of the sick child and praying all night long, it was a parallel to her being with Bran, but the original child that she stayed up with and prayed to the gods for was Jon Snow.
Yeah.
And even though that she felt that sympathy for him, she still hated him.
Yeah.
But that goes to show you how honorable of a lady she was as well. Even though she had her feelings about who he was, she still didn't want to see him die.
Because she was the only reason that Neddard didn't legitimize him, right? That he didn't give him his name.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Snow.
Salty.
So I think we're going to see a lot of revelations this season as far as lineages and whatnot.
Like what he told Ramsay when he's like, that's why he's like, your father was a cunt. he's like, that's why you killed him, right? And he's like, my father was poisoned by the enemy. It's like, don't nobody buy that shit. Everybody knows you're batshit crazy, man. You killed your dad. Don't try to hide it.
It's nice to see him put in his place. That's for sure.
Also, Umber making a pedo joke at Karstock.
Oh yeah,
it's like this boy might be like he brings the woman for Ramsay, and then the boy boy was like, "Well, Karstock can have this one. I know how he likes the young boys."
I love the insults in this show. Ramsay's death is going to be one of the most satisfying to me.
Oh my goodness!
And I do not want it to be like some arrow to the heart bullshit, fall off a mountain.
No.
I want him to be ripped apart.
Yes,
preferably by his own hounds would be the shit.
But they love him. His hounds love him.
Maybe the hound will come back and kill him.
That would be ironic.
You've got some kind of
undead direwolf.
You've got the hound killing him.
Oh, the hound.
The hound.
Oh, yeah.
Killing him is I don't know why. I don't think the stories really connect enough for that to happen. But that would be cool. It's like he likes to kill with hounds. He gets killed by the hound. It'd be cool.
I think his death is going to be slow and painful.
I hope so.
It better be.
I hope so.
He deserves much worse.
He's really probably my most hated character since Joffrey, if I had to pick one. I just hate him. Ramsay's a douchebag. There's lots of characters I don't like, but Ramsay's just an asshat, man. Especially after feeding that baby and that woman to his hounds.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn. I would have just put the baby in a basket or something. This is
down the river.
No, they don't have Facebook. Nobody's gonna look at this baby and go, "Oh, he's a Bolton. This is the heir to the throne."
It's Michael Bolton
coming to the wall with music blaring. Nobody's gonna know. I would have just put him in a basket and give him the Moses treatment and let him just go on up the river until somebody found him.
It's pretty cold out there, though.
I'd have wrapped him up tight. I wouldn't have fed him to a hound. I'd still rather him die of hypothermia than eaten alive by a hound. Good God, that baby probably didn't last long. That woman, however, That was rough. That was hard. I mean, it's got a lot of heart wrenching scenes in this. Like when they burned Stannis' daughter.
Yeah,
that was hard to watch. Like I'm like, holy.
It was tough.
Does Davos know Melisandre was behind that? I mean, he knows that happened, right?
I think he pretty much knows.
He put it together. Yeah.
She was a sacrifice for the army.
I was a little I would thought his reaction, because he was really tight with Stannis' daughter.
He wanted to take Shireen with him.
Yeah,
and they wouldn't let him. So he comes back and she's dead. And like I'm sure he felt some guilt about that as well, and some feelings. Had some feelings. But
pretty glad to see Stannis gone too. He just was kind of like that annoying. Like he's kind of like the Vegeta that nobody likes. I don't know if y'all watch Dragon Ball Z, but. Like he just he's like the whole time like the throne's mine, I'm the rightful heir, blah 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 blah. Except for everybody likes Vegeta, but he was like the Vegeta nobody would like. But I was glad to see him gone, and I love that Brienne of Tarth was one to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. She.
I want to see her. What's happening with her right now?
I think we're going to see her coming up. I don't know if you guys have seen the preview for next episode.
I haven't.
Shed some light.
But I just want to talk about a couple things. We see in the preview for next episode, Sansa and Brienne at a gate that's opening. So it could be that they're possibly at Castle Black.
Castle Black.
Hopefully Jon hasn't left yet.
Well, yeah. So
hopefully he had to go to his room, get a few things.
Yeah, hopefully he had to pack up and all that stuff, and talk to the wildlings and be like, "Hey, you guys are going to come with me or not?"
Yeah.
Either that, or they just pass each other in the night and miss each other, which I hope is not.
He
the case.
probably doesn't want to talk to him. I mean, they've seen his dick, talking about his penis size. He's probably a little embarrassed now. He walks by the main one and just kind of like. It was cold. Death is a cold adventure.
Yeah. I mean, your blood. You don't have any flowing blood when you're dead.
You guys have never
judge
heard
him on that.
Angelwood? I mean,
what is his name? Tormund? How do you say
Tormund?
That? Tormund.
Yeah.
Be like, look, Tormund. It was death, man. It's pretty cold on the other side.
Why don't you whip yours out and let's compare?
Right.
But I think in the next episode we're going to see the return of Littlefinger because
JT,
because he's talking with some folks about Sansa escaping.
I can't wait for him to die too. I don't like Littlefinger.
You don't like him?
No,
he's still up at the Eyrie, I would imagine.
I think he's going to get his too, though.
I think he's all about himself. Yeah. I think, and I mean, he screwed a lot of people.
He's just the ultimate survivor, though. I think he's going to outlast everyone.
I haven't liked him since he put a knife to Eddard Stark's throat. That was the point at which I was like, I don't like him.
Yeah,
I don't know this guy's story yet, but I don't like him.
Possibly Lady Stark coming back and seeking revenge against Littlefinger. Maybe?
Oh, that would be badass.
That would be a nice little wrap up for his story. But also, Theon is going to be back with his sister at the Iron Islands.
Ooh.
And possibly might see the King's Moot progress a little bit, the election.
Mm-hmm. So
you got Euron and Yara and Theon all under the same roof, deciding who's going to be the next ruler.
I just, as long as I was around Euron, stay off the bridge.
Yeah.
Just, I want to meet me on the bridge. Hell no. I will meet you in a field.
Meet me at the mall. It's going down. And also we see Lady Olenna and Cersei discussing Marjorie. And we see Marjorie holding her brother for the preview for the next episode. So possibly they're reuniting. Possibly she's agreed to repent in front of the city. Oh, who knows?
Wonder if they'll make her walk naked.
Oh, that would be lovely.
I hope so.
I was telling him before the show started, man. I think I just think she's just an absolutely beautiful woman. Like Lord have mercy.
Tommen's a lucky guy, no doubt.
What was the scene where he like loses his V card or whatever, and she's like, he's like, you could do this all day.
Yeah.
Like, man, I wouldn't do anything but. I'd have someone to make king decisions for me. It's like I'm busy making babies. With Marjorie, why would you want to do anything else? And then
at the end of the preview, we see Jorah and Daario fighting. So possibly they're at they're in Vos Dothrak.
I hope they're being stealthy.
And they're trying to save Daenerys.
There's a lot of God, I can't talk. Dothraki out there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot. I don't think that they're going to take that whole lot. So hopefully.
Yeah, which we know that Daario's stealthy, so we'll see how that plays out. But that'd be interesting to see. That's where the preview cut off. So we got all those things to look forward to next episode.
God, it's always, I mean, like I said, I love it. The season's kicking ass. I mean,
it's just like it just keeps progressing. The story's progressing,
right,
and progressing in a nice pace.
Yeah,
and that's what I like about the show. At no point does it feel like there's like, and even though yes, it was like my favorite show of all time, still like Lost. At some points, you felt like they were just writing shit just to write it. Like, hey, we're just this is a filler up. I mean, I don't feel like any. And even The Walking Dead has what I call like filler episodes. I don't feel like you really have that at all with Game of Thrones. Every scene has a part to play.
Everything's so vital.
Yeah, it's like when they write it, they say, okay, is this conversation really necessary to the story? No? Okay, it's out. That's pointless.
Yeah.
We're not wasting screen time with that.
Well, having so many characters, while it may be hard to remember all of them, there's plenty of stories to tell. So we're always getting new information with each episode, which I think is great. Plus, we get a little action, too.
Yeah.
Get a little action.
Some romances, something for everyone.
Oh, really they're having so many, and it's just a testament to the writing too, to be able to have that many characters and you still enjoy it and you get attached to them. It's not like, because I'm sure some writers probably couldn't handle a load of that many characters.
Yeah.
Without some of them starting to get stale or you just
And at the pace the show is going, I think the season finale is going to be huge. I think it's going to be something major. Major.
I think we're.
I can't say what it will be, but at the pace of the show is moving.
I think Daenerys and Jon Snow are going to be boo things before the show's over with. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Well, they're family though, right?
I mean, yeah, but one of the biggest couples in this show are brother and sister. I think as long as they're not brother and sister, that's true though. I don't. Maybe you know what though? They're so convoluted.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll be like, you know what? We got to keep the species going. I mean,
I guess technically they would be
like cousins
or brother. I don't know.
Oh God,
or uncles and aunts. I don't know.
The Targaryens were known for that, though, right? Wasn't that what produced the Mad King interbreeding in the family?
I don't know.
I thought I'd heard that on a show.
I want to see the Mad King.
Maybe we'll get to see the Mad King with Bran in the flashbacks.
It's really cool to see the flashbacks. I'm enjoying them. I like flashbacks in story and shows if it's done right. You know, again, going back to Lost, as many plot holes as it had, I really thought that was a great way of getting to know these characters without having to spend. I like flashbacks if they're done right. Some shows it gets kind of like I don't care about this guy.
Yeah, I think with Bran. They're doing it correctly.
Yeah, I think so. I know they had said at one point they didn't plan to do any flashbacks, but it's realizing like, hey, people are interested in the history of this. I mean, it's crazy how you have an entire history.
Well, the way they're doing it too is not so much a flashback as them like being there.
Right. You're not.
Because,
right.
I mean, with when Bran calls out for his father, it's almost like he hears him.
Yeah.
Because he stops for a minute and he's like, what, did I just hear that?
It's going to be interesting if he has the ability to manipulate the past or what.
Man. Yes, because the man in the tree, he says if you stay too long, you'll get stuck there.
Yeah.
So I mean, like there. So
that he want to though, he can walk there.
Yeah, but at the same time, like that means that they could be actually there, just on a different plane of sorts.
Yeah, right.
They can't be seen necessarily, but. Obviously, Bran is a strong warg and a green seer, so much so that he calls out his father's name,
and he hears
and he could have heard him.
Yeah, because I like it. Because he's like he heard me, and he's like, oh, he might have heard the wind. It's like, no, he heard him.
Yeah, so, I think the man in the tree is being a little vague. Yeah,
I think so. I'm excited to see where that's going to go, though. I'm glad he's back. We kind of had Bran gone for only a whole season,
and the dude who played young Ed Stark looks a lot like the original
I saw
actor.
when they were casting for him, they were like a specific type of accent and they wanted like a narrow type face.
So you think it's just the way the person looks, or you think it's CGI involvement?
It could be a little bit of both. I know they were casting looking for someone who looked like a lot young,
like him, yeah.
What was the guy's name? Sean Bean. That played Eddard Stark. They were looking for someone that looked like a younger him. So, I mean,
they did a great job finding him because he looks a lot like him. If nothing else, he could be his son for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think we've hit every major plot point that I can think of. I don't think we're leaving much out. I really hope the High Sparrow catches a knife in the gut sometime soon. I'm just waiting for it. I'm done with him. Like, there's no.
I think it should happen in a way because like he almost wants to be killed.
Yeah.
He wants to be a martyr, right? So that way everybody will be thinking that he's way more important than he really is.
They need to like kill him on top of like an orgy. So he's just unclean. You know what I mean? Something that he just so against. Throw him into like a whorehouse and then like rape him, and then that's dark. I'm not going there. But anyway, do something to where like he feels like he dies a sinner. You know what I mean? Like he thinks he's gonna die clean, and he's gonna go.
Make
to
him walk through the streets naked. Embarrass him.
Yeah.
I think Tymon's definitely going to end up under a spell though, because he already got his brother. Jaime and Cersei's other son. Yeah, he sure did.
Wait, what? What are you talking about?
One of their kids is in his cult, right?
No,
I'm totally right about that. One of Cersei's, her brother,
it's like a cousin. Yeah,
she was boning. Yeah, because she was boning him. That wasn't her son.
I was like, dude, what?
Yeah, I was. It
was the cousin that she was.
It was a Lannister, though. I should have just said it was a Lannister.
Yeah, she was using him as her like sex slave, kind of, sort of.
That's right.
And then it turned out.
And then he repented, and now he's with the House Sparrow.
Yeah. Some cool fact about his scene. He had a scene last season, I think, where he grabs a table and like his nails split or something, and he actually like grew his nails out for that part, like let them get real brittle. Because our nails, sadly, unlike animals, you can't grow them into kick-ass weapons. They get brittle, and and he let his grow out for a while.
That sounds painful.
And when he squeezed the table for the intensity of that scene, it like cracked his nail in real life. But that's what he wanted. That's what he was trying to portray by not cutting his fingernails. I can't remember the time. I can't remember. It was like 2 months. Maybe he didn't cut his nails.
To the role.
2 months.
2 months. I know it wasn't like. I know it was a while. I might be wrong on the time, but I know it was
Surely they have like prosthetic nails.
There's so many times, and really, I can appreciate dedication to a role, but there's some points where it's like, man, look, we're in the modern age.
Maybe he was just a flamenco guitar player, and he just needed long nails. So
yeah. Two birds with one stone.
Like Esteban.
I was gonna say maybe he's just an undercover coke dealer. So good talking to you guys. I guess we'll see. The council will reconvene next Monday.
Absolutely.
So any predictions as we move to the end of this podcast? Anything that you think is definitely going to happen?
Well, I mean, with the preview of next week's episode, I think we'll see a lot of different things. But as far as I think, my prediction, we don't know for sure. I think Jon Snow is going to go to Winterfell. I think he's going to find Ramsay there and kind of beat the shit out of him and save Rickon and Osha. But who knows?
It's going to be really cool to see him outside of the wall.
Yeah,
we've seen him so long, and even when he was like with the wildlings, all we've seen him is with the whole brotherhood. And it'd be cool to see him actually now interacting with some characters, because it's been a while, and he's definitely evolved as a person. So, anything you want to any solid predictions you want to make?
Ooh, like I said, I think Tymon's going to be with the old High Sparrow in one way or another.
That's going to suck. Yeah. All right, rating. Let's rate the episode before we go out. Matt, what do you give it?
I'm going with an 8.7.
Oh, that's good. How about yourself?
I'll round it up to a 9.
Okay, okay. Well, I'll kind of jump in this isn't really in the middle. I'll say an 8.5.
Oh, okay.
Just trying. I would probably have done a 9, but I just don't want to jump on the bandwagon. But really though, I haven't really seen any Game of Thrones episodes I wouldn't give at least like a 7 to.
Yeah,
it's really nice.
They've been really good this season, especially coming off the fact that they're off the books kind of more or less now.
Yeah.
And so the writing is completely original for the most part.
Be interesting to see how that which he's writing the novels completely on his own.
Yeah,
right? I mean, he's not. I think he's almost done with one of them, or it's been like pushed back, but he's writing on that. So it'd be cool to see if any of because like Osha, for instance, I'll say this before we go, but he was given a very small part in the story in the books, but he liked her on-screen character so much that he's going to give her a bigger part in the books.
Wow, okay,
so the show does influence the books.
That's interesting. So the show and the books influence each other. That's great.
Yep. So Cool deal. Well, we will see you next week for episode 4.
Yes.
Doing too many shows, man. I can't keep up with what episode on what we're on.
Before we sign off, I just want to give a shout out to a few people.
Hi, Mom.
But thank you for listening to the show. JC, Will, and Sarah, you guys came up and talked to me about the episode. You listened to last week's episode. I hope you keep on listening. And that's the whole point, like you said back in episode 1, we're just super fans here to discuss this thing, and we want to hear from you guys. So
yeah, we do not claim to be the expert or authority on this show, so don't think, we're going to mispronounce names. We're going to be naming important people, that guy with the beard. I mean, we're not on here to say that, we are, the walking encyclopedias for the show. We just like the show. We like talking about it, and we love listener comments and interaction. We don't like trolls, but we like people. If you want to genuinely talk about the show, and if we're wrong about something, tell us. Say, hey, actually, it was so and so that did so and so. My pride isn't not on this. I'm not going to be butthurt if you prove me wrong.
Yeah.
I'd rather you tell me so I can get the story right. So. Yeah. But yeah, so we hope you enjoy it. We look forward to next week. Subscribe. Find us on Facebook. We also have a Walking Dead podcast with another Matt. The Podcasting Dead. Look for that and give it a like. And I need to give us a shout out on that one next week.
Oh yeah, we keep forgetting.
This is Game of Thrones shit, man. It's like we're manipulating our other podcast.
I know.
Some dark shit. Next thing I know, I'm gonna come in here and be like, "All right, welcome to Game of," and you're gonna be like stabbing me for the Brotherhood. No, it's gonna be like for the Podcasting Dead.
Oh,
the other Matt's going to be waiting in like a dark corner. Then JP's just going to be like, well, I just kind of wanted to stab someone.
Yeah,
so just
I like to stab. What do you want me to say?
But thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next week. I'm Justin.
And I'm JP.
And I'm Matt.
Yeah.